My plant room is like a very, very constantly changing and ridiculous game of Tetris. Hi there dreamers, it's me Jacqueline. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome here if you're new. I'm really glad to have you. We talk about Hoyas and other houseplants on this channel, so if that interests you, I hope you hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss future uploads from me. I've also been doing this for a little while. I started back in 2017 as a beauty channel and transitioned to plants in 2020, so we've got a couple years worth of plant videos for you to go back and check out if that's something of interest to you. I will have some playlists or some fun videos linked over here for you. But don't go there yet. Please stay, watch this video, and then go check that out after if you have more time. If you are looking for ways to support me, watching the video to the end is a great way to do that. Thank you so much in advance. If you have the time, I really appreciate you. Any interactions you give my videos, such as likes, comments, it's all welcome feedback, and thank you so much. If you have the chance to participate, I appreciate you. It feels like it's been forever since I filmed because the last time I filmed, I was batch filming, so I filmed like 3 different things, and then I discovered, well, the audio kind of got messed up. Well, that's okay. I can fix that in post. That's okay. And then half the footage was missing, and I didn't have a single complete video after filming like 3 or 4. I had nothing to show for it, and then I've just been crazy busy. So I am back here filming, I'm pretty sure the same videos a few weeks later, hopefully with a better outcome. I have been so busy for very good reason though. As I mentioned in a past video, I've actually been selling little baby Hoya propagations. Well, I shouldn't say baby because they're not babies. So essentially it's a shop that sells on consignment, and there are about 14 or 15 different women-run small businesses that are being sold there. And there are all sorts of things from rare aroids and Hoyas and other interesting plants that you may not have seen before, to isopods and custom planters and t-shirts and crystals and jewelry and all kinds of things. In the market for any sort of gift giving that's upcoming, you'll likely find something awesome in this shop. I did take some footage of the initial plants set up in the shop, so maybe I can insert that here. But essentially, I have a whole display of my own in this shop, and the shop is called N Tings. So it's Plants and Things, but you drop the H. And it is in Groveport, which is a neighborhood of southeast Columbus. If you enjoy walking into a plant shop and having an emotional response to plants, I think you'll be very, very pleased. I'm pretty sure I cried the first time I set foot in there because it just was a room full of plants I had never seen in person before, and beautiful and available, and it's just amazing. So if you do get a chance to go down there, even if you're not shopping for my plants, I would encourage you to check it out. And you're supporting a lot of small businesses with anything that you purchase there, and I would love for you to also contribute to those other small businesses because they're really cool people too. Since all the plants that are for sale are at the shop, I would show you the mother plants that they came from so that you have an idea of what they can grow into in a couple years' time. I do have a couple of non-Hoya mother plants. Maybe we'll save those for last. One of the plants that is still available is my Hoya Jennifer. Hoya Jennifer, this is a relatively small plant, so the plant that's for sale in the shop is 1 leaf, but it also has the peduncle. I will put in a picture of the bloom of this. When it did open for me, they didn't all open at the same time, and it was like only for a day, but it was so beautiful. I wanted someone else to get the opportunity to potentially bloom it, so I cut off that top leaf and peduncle and rooted that, and that is available in the shop for you if you have been looking for a Hoya Jennifer. Oh, I also forgot to mention that plants are going to be available to be shipped as well, so it's not going to be limited to just in-person sales, though I would encourage you to go experience it in person. It's a great vibe. I think you'll really enjoy it. Just know that that will be an option soon. If it is not available already, it should be up soon. We are just waiting on some temperatures we can trust here. I have a couple of cuttings of this Hoya SP 22 Cow Yai that are available as well. This one took a while to start getting going for me, but once it did, it loves to put off leaves. I want to say this is its newest one, and this is its largest one, which I really like. one of the biggest Hoya leaves in my collection. Can we do a head test? It's kind of an awkward angle, but it's about a half of my face. Not had this one bloom yet, but I noticed that I just can't find a lot of this one available. Definitely not in person, but not even online. So I thought it would be good to give her a little trim and see if some other people can't get her growing as well. It's been a really gorgeous plant. I really appreciate how each leaf has been kind of different. You'll notice that the plants from me are fuller on the faster growing things because I can give you more cuttings, and then on the things that grow slower, it will be a smaller cutting, maybe a single or double leaf situation, a couple more if I can. Basically, I'm trying to keep regular inventory rather than holding out to try to make humongous plants and not having stuff available very often. This is Hoya Moto Skai, and I bought this as 4 or 5 leaves back in 2020, and it's grown pretty consistently for me, and it's starting to put off new growth points now that I gave it a little bit of a haircut. So very excited about that. Hoya Moto Skai is rumored to have been like the original Carnosa. Don't quote me on that. Again, I am not a professional or a taxonomist of any kind, but I think that they're really cool. This plant does consistently put out relatively round Carnosa-like leaves with pretty consistent splash as well. It's been a pretty happy plant. It does have a fuzzier stem than like your standard Carnosa, and the backs of the leaves are really fuzzy when they first come out. But yeah, I have a couple of pots of this available for you as well. This plant is quite a bit smaller now, as I have taken many cuttings and rooted them for the shop. There are several little pots of this Hoya parasitica, which I believe is now Hoya verticillata black margin. I have bought it under both names. I think they are the same plant, but essentially this plant gets really, really beautiful black margins when you give it enough light. This one I think has been under a more subtle grow light in my collection lately, so that black has kind of faded, but this is such a beautiful plant. Verticillatas or parasiticas are very generous growers in my experience, and some of these leaves get a little extra splashy, which who doesn't love a little silver on their Hoya? It's so fun. I forgot I'm using autofocus and I can move up closer so you can see things. Several little pots of these are available, and they're pretty affordable too, so if that's something you're interested in. Hoya Viola is much smaller now because I, again, took more cuttings for the shop, but you can see these gorgeous leaves. These are the ones that she was putting off, and I, against my better judgment, I cut a few of them, and they will be available in a little while, but I know that there is a cutting from down here that is in the shop and ready and waiting for somebody to come and pick it up. But I love Hoya Viola. It has been a really good grower for me. Like any Hoya that will put off this size leaf when it's happy. I mean, it's huge, it's beautiful, it's veiny, it's everything you could possibly want in a Hoya. This one has not bloomed for me yet, and the only reason why I didn't cut this one is because it's like one of those weird mutant leaves. I love mutant leaves. The ones that end up looking like fishtails and stuff, those are my favorite. I love weird leaves. The one that's available at the shop right now has smaller leaves than this. This is what it can put off in optimal lighting, just so that you're aware. I love this plant. This plant is going crazy trying to grab all the other plants and vine around all the other plant hangers. So I may end up having to switch this to a trellis situation. This is Hoya Tsangii. I say that, take it with a little bit of a grain of salt because it has not bloomed for me yet. I know technically that's the only way to identify a Hoya officially, but to the lay person, a lot of the blooms look the same, so it doesn't necessarily answer the question for us normal folk. Anyway, if you would like to see the article that I found, the botanical journal that led me to believe this ID, I will have that linked for you in the description box. This plant is different from a Shepherdii or a Kentiana or a Odetteae because these stems remain green. They don't become woody and kind of bark colored. they stay green, and the flowers are supposed to be small and yellow, as opposed to like a Odetteae is burgundy or a Shepherdii is white. So this is a different flower. I have not seen these readily available online. The only place that I have seen them more than once is on Gardino Hoya's website, which I've never had the pleasure of purchasing from them, but I know a lot of people have had reputable experiences with that company. So they sell, I want to say, a 4-inch pot that has a few cuttings in it for around $40 plus shipping. So I have very full 4-inch pots available in person for $45, or I have smaller versions for I think $25. I do try to have multiple sizes of plants available, just because some people like to start small and some people like to start with a full pot. But yeah, again, the ones that grow faster give me a lot more to play around with, and you'll see fuller baskets for those. But I have gifted this plant to a few of my friends, and we're all kind of racing to bloom it to verify the ID. But if you are looking for further information about this particular Hoya, you will want to look it up. I'll put it on the screen, but you'll want to look it up as Hoya Tsangii Odetteae, because that's what it used to be called. That's its formerly known name. And that should direct you to more images of this actual plant and less of the thing that looks like Odetteae or Bilobata, because they are not the same. But there is a bit of that nomenclature confusion. Just a heads up. I have several of these available for you. I also have a couple of plants from this Hoya Croniana or lacunosa heart shape splash. Some of the vines are more splashy than others, so I have tried to make some baskets that are really splashy and some that are the normal, and that way you can pick what you like. And this plant has not bloomed for me yet, though it does have a peduncle, and I assume it's going to smell like my other lacunosa blooms, which, side note, is happening right now. It smells so good in here. When you tell hubby you're filming and he still decides to take a work call on speaker in the middle of the house. Deep breaths. Oh, deep breath of lacunosa, even better. Definitely helps. So cute. I gotta cover my face or it's not gonna show you. Look at how precious that is. We got a double bloom. Is that not just so beautiful? To me, it smells like a mix of rose and daisy. I'm a big fan. This is the lacunosa that was unspecified. It really wasn't even called a lacunosa. It was just called a Hoya that I picked up when I drove through Missouri. So I got this at Vintage Hill. I got this last May, and it's been blooming for about 2 months or so. This lady has been trying to steal the show the entire time I've been filming. This is my Hoya Bella. I feel like you can't really get the full feel of all her glory in this frame, but I'm doing my best. I bought this in a 6-inch pot back in 2020, and she took a little while to get going because I think I was ignorant and didn't know how to treat her. So I was just treating her like any other Hoya, and she wants less light and more water. So once I figured that out, she just started growing like a weed. This plant I did not cut or propagate or anything for like the first 2 years because I didn't trust it and I wanted it to bloom. It now hangs from my ceiling and I still get hit in the face with it when I'm caring for other plants. So this blooms regularly if I stay on top of the watering. If I miss it by a day, it drops all the peduncles, but it'll form new ones. It will go through a blooming season where it will have multiple blooms on it at a time. I love looking at this Hoya from underneath. It is why I hang it from the ceiling in my house, and because that's a place that's a little bit further pulled away from my grow lights, which she appreciates. If you give it higher light, just be mindful, it can be acclimated to that, but your growth will be much more lime green than this like deep saturated green. So it's just a matter of preference. My plant tends to do better with my underwatering when I don't give it as much light. It is very quick to branch whether I have cut it or not. It just gets to a certain point and it sends out more of that growth hormone to start spreading. So I didn't ever like chop and put propagations back in here. It just kind of spread on its own, which is awesome. It's similar to a lacunosa in that way. I would say lacunosa blooms faster for me than Bella because it took a few years of caring for this, whereas that lacunosa has been in my care for less than a year. I definitely have several full pots of this Hoya Bella available for you. If that's something you're interested in, go check it out. I think it's in a couple of different sizes. We have this lady. And you might be thinking, Jacqueline, that's just a Hoya Carnosa Crimson Princess. And it is, but it's different. I've got both. This is the Hoya Carnosa Crimson Princess I bought as a Costa Farms plant back in 2020. I've restarted it because of, flat mites. If you need to know more about that, go check out my silly song. But this is the one I bought 2 years ago. And this is the one I bought last February that you guys saw me repot. It grows such huge round leaves. Do you see what I'm saying? Like consistently. Let me set this down so I can show you better. Look at how big and round these leaves are, just consistently. Like, hello? That's not the same. That's not the same. They're huge. They're beautiful. They're really, really round. Noisy husband walking by. This consistently puts out these crazy, very variegated, wide, round leaves. And this is a mutated one, so I kept it. But I have several pots of this rooting for you and more coming. This plant is so beautiful. It's so rewarding to grow. It grows just as readily as my other Crimson Princess or my other Carnosas. They're fast growers. They're very happy. Carnosas can be a little bit more stingy with their blooms, meaning they make you wait a little bit longer, but the growth certainly makes up for it. I forgot one. This is my Hoya No ID. And I've got babies of her available as well. She is beautiful. I'm going to cover up my face so you can hopefully see. This plant loves to climb. I'm going to trellis it here in a minute. I just got some more trellises so that I can fix her up. But it is slightly pubescent. It is veiny. It is pubescent on the stems and the leaves. It's beautiful. It's kind of lime green in color, and it doesn't need too much light. I would say that it likes to not get super dry. The leaves aren't as succulent as my other Hoyas that are more drought tolerant, but this plant just grows like crazy. You can see I've cut it back in several places and it's already started to regrow. This is one of the few Hoyas that I have been able to bring back from leafless nodes. I was able to propagate leafless nodes, and that's actually how the plants that are in the shop got started. I did put in some cuttings from this larger plant so that you could see what these leaves look like in their full size. But on the plants that you see in the shop where they have little leaves that look like this, it's because they started as leafless stems and rooted that way, and so they're just putting off preliminary leaves initially. But the leaves will look like this, and this is what the plant grows out to be. It has not bloomed for me yet, and again, like the Tsangii, I have gifted cuttings of this to several people, and we are all racing to bloom it to try to give her a name, because I don't know what she is. Sold to me as Hoya dolichosparte. It absolutely is not. That is a very succulent leaved Hoya, and she ain't it. You can see she's not quite a pendant style Hoya, but she's not quite sturdy enough to hold up on her own, so that's why I'm going to trellis this one, and it tends to go crazy once I do that anyway. Okay, those are all the mother plants of the baby plants I've got available for you in the shop right now. And if you would like to see more videos like this, you can leave me a like down below. That helps me know that you're interested in this type of content. You can leave me a comment as to what plant is the most interesting to you. Which one are you most tempted by? Are you planning any road trips through Columbus this upcoming season, maybe in spring or summer? I'd love to see you drop by. I do spend a lot of time at the shop, so if you show up, you do run a chance of meeting me in person, so I would love to chat with you. Thank you so much for watching till the end. To those of you who did, I extra appreciate you. It means so much to me. Thank you so much. And hope you're having a wonderful day or evening wherever you are. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.